Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Alicia Cotton. I currently serve the Women's Resource Center on its board as its chair. And today I want to extend to you a warm and heartfelt welcome to our annual Founders Day Luncheon. I am certainly delighted that you've chosen to spend your lunch and your afternoon with us as we take a moment to just reflect on all of the endeavors we've been able to accomplish over the 20 plus years, and we pause just to refresh and continue the work ahead. So again, I want to say thank you for joining us today and to welcome you on behalf of the entire Women's Resource Center, our board, our staff, and all of our volunteers today. I also am proud and pleased to represent Tropicana today as a company in this community. We want to continue to strive to be an integral part of the community in which we live and produce our products. So again, thank you for joining us today. Welcome. Enjoy the lunch and the fellowship. And at this time, I want to introduce to you and present to some Ms. Ashley Brown, the Executive Director of the Women's Resource Center. Thank you and enjoy your lunch, ladies.
Good afternoon. I'm just going to talk for a quick minute now. I'm trying to see who I'm going to focus on that's not going to make me be inappropriate during my speech. Not Betsy or Marilyn. No. I'm going to look this way. I'd like to thank all of the table captains who put together a great group of people. Ladies, thank you so much. And Dottie Turner and I were pretty convinced that something was going to be on fire here today because that's been the kind of week it's been. So Dottie, thank you for all of your hard work in putting this together. I figure I'll start talking and then eventually somebody would say, what is that noise? I do want to say for Tropicana, which again, thank you, but that's just the cutest picture ever. With the state and 100% born and raised in Florida. I know. So thanks again, Tropicana. I also, and my table moved way to the back with Chico's, but we have an exciting new partnership with Chico's on St. Armand's. So Carol Rice and Patty Tridente, as opposed to Trident, who I was going with. So Patty Tridente is the manager of the Chico's, and she and Carol have put together this great partnership. And starting this week, if you go shop at Chico's on St. Armand's, 10% of your purchase is coming back to the Women's Resource Center. So, thank you. And we're going to do an event at least once a quarter. The next one, and Carol and Amanda and Jamie and I were talking about this, the holiday season. How easy do men have it during the holiday season? It's not right. It isn't. So we have the concept of one, like, basic, I don't know, black, and take one outfit and change accessories, jewelry, scarves, and make it 6 or 8 different outfits. So December 6th, that's going to be at, the Unique Boutique, which is the resale shop of the Women's Resource Center. So we're really excited about the partnership and hope to grow it and bring more people in, which is going to be really good. And by show of hands, how many of you have shopped, not at Chico's, because everybody, Judy Sedgman would have both hands up. How many of you have been in or shopped at the Unique Boutique? Oh, that's excellent. So I asked my board and some of our volunteers to wear something that they had purchased from the Unique Boutique. So if you guys could just stand so we can see. Look how cute. Cute. Edie Bustle, give it a twirl. You've been showing that thing. So if you haven't been to the shop, it really, Jamie and Barbara and their core volunteers do a great job in there, and there's great stuff. So the purpose of this luncheon is to really educate and inform people that aren't real familiar with the Women's Resource Center about the Women's Resource Center. So I thought a little history would do, and Jan, who has her back to me, You knew I was going to call on you, Jan. And excuse me, I'm getting over a cold. So the Women's Resource Center about 22 years ago started in Jan and Twistle's living room, which, Jan, you can just give a wave. Give a wave. There we go. And it was Jan and Altrusa AUW, the president or the leadership of Junior League, a lot of different women's organizations in Bradenton came together in a living room. And don't you just love that? And isn't that just so typical of women to say, we need to do something to bring services to the women of our community? So 22 years later, a lot of volunteers. I got to speak to the Free Spirits that used to do yard sales every week. Crazy. Thank you for that. A lot of donors, a lot of programs. Thousands of women have gone through programs at the Women's Resource Center, which begs the question, if we have thousands of women, what kind of impact do you think that has on the community? 90% of our women are mothers. So, healthy moms, healthier kids, healthier families. And these are your coworkers, your employees, sometimes your employers, your neighbors, your friends. So, that one woman, and you're going to see it throughout, empower a woman, change a life, strengthen a community. And we believe it. And hopefully after you hear some great stories today, you'll know that it's true. How many of you have driven by the Women's Resource Center on Manatee Avenue? Cora Parrish, raise your hand. Okay, thank you. How many of you have driven by and said, I wonder what they do in there? Yeah, I did that. My staff just raised their hand, which scares me a little bit. But other than that, Bonnie will go over that on Monday. So with the thousands of women we've helped and the impact we've had, there's still a lot of people that say, Women's Resource Center, I've heard the name, I'm pretty sure they do something good, but I'm not sure exactly what it is. Laurel Lynch with Hope Family Services and Shar Young are here today. I get a lot, oh, you're the domestic violence shelter. And I say, no, that's Hope Family Services. But we work really collaboratively with them. And we get, oh, you're for indigent women and you give them clothes. Well, we do have a career closet and give clothes, but we're really so much more. The best way I know how to do that is for the women who have been impacted by the program to share their stories. And every year, I coerce, beg, there could be bribing, Christina, women who are amazing women to come and share their stories of when they were going through transition and how the programs of the center helped them. The first of these is Eleanor Lee. So Eleanor, I have been at the center for 10 years. Isn't that shocking? 10 years. And I'm only 32. I don't know how that happens. All right, 34. But Eleanor was just going through one of our programs, and I've had the fortune to kind of stay connected with her, and she's done some really amazing things and is really successful. So Eleanor, thank you for coming, and this is Eleanor Lee.
Thank you, Ashley. Well, when Ashley asked me to speak, I said, well, what would you like for me to speak on? She said, well, just what does the Women's Resource Center mean to you? What has it done for you? I knew immediately that was a very easy job for me, so I thank you for giving me the opportunity of being able to come and tell people about that today. In order to tell you what the Women's Resource Center means to me, I have to tell you a little story and a little bit about the journey of my life. I promise to make it brief. I think I always knew that I would need to support myself. And just through synchronicity and the way things often work, I went into the real estate business. And that is what I did for about 16 years. I did fine with that. After that, I owned and operated and managed 2 businesses. I did fine with that. But along about 10 or 12 years ago, I knew that it was time for another transition. I'm sure you know what I'm talking about. Sometimes we just know within ourselves that it's time to make a change. It's very scary, has been for me. And yet I knew that these changes and transitions were things I had to do, I needed to do very much. So, at this time in my life, I was thinking, well, I need to do something that provides a little more stability in my life. As you see, what I had done prior to that were jobs of let's say, entrepreneurship, and you can count on that sometimes, and sometimes you can't. And yet I had been blessed, but at that point of my life, I felt I needed to, as my friends would say, get a real job. I really felt like I had been working a lot prior to that, but I was wanted to get a real job. Well, believe it or not, I had no idea as to how to go about that. I had been self-employed. I didn't know how the skills that I had gleaned and were natural to me could possibly be of help to an employer. I was very uncertain, and it was a difficult time. It was a lost time in my life. I felt lost. So, one fine day, I picked up the Bradenton Herald, and I saw an ad in there about the Women's Resource Center. It was just like manna from above. It was everything I knew I needed to perfect or at least be comfortable with doing, such as job interviewing, resume, how to look for a job, how to know what would even interest me. So I beat a path down to the Women's Resource Center, and this, I believe, is one of the biggest components of why and how the program worked so well for me. I felt so welcomed by all of the ladies there. They were so interested, they were so kind, they were so accepting. I did not feel like, poor little old me, I don't know what I want to do with the rest of my life at this stage of my life. They accepted me, welcomed me with open arms, and helped me with all of the various programs that were going on at the time. Well, suddenly, I've got a resume for the first time. And the lady who was working there, Debbie, who was wonderful, a counselor, she's moved on now, was able to put my skills, talents, and experience into such a way that I looked at it and I said, is that me? It was just everything there was so eye-opening for me and so exciting, and I was able to learn and grow so much through the programs that were there. Well, ordinarily, possibly the story might be almost done, but what I did with all of that information is I kind of took it in and then began to really search and wonder, okay, I've taken these tests. I know that I want to work with people. I know that I cannot sit behind a desk all day. I picked up the phone and I called Jane Parker, who was at the Resource Center at that time. And we had been taught in the programs that networking is a big part of this. I said, Jane, I'm still looking, can't work behind a desk, want to work with people. She said, well, it doesn't always happen, but sometimes I run across some things and it works, and so I will call you. Well, she was as good as her word. not long after that, she gave me a call and said, Eleanor, my husband came home today and he said that they need a sales counselor at the retirement community. I didn't know she had a husband. I didn't know about retirement communities. She didn't know I had been in real estate, and she did not know that I had taken care of my parents, and I had been the primary caregiver for my parents for a number of years. So as soon as she said that and told me a little bit about it, I knew. Now you got to remember, I'd been searching for a long time. This was just an unbelievable occurrence. It was wonderful. It was like I knew that was it. And so now the rest is history. That was almost 10 years ago. And I've enjoyed my journey with retirement communities. I'm at Freedom Village now, still working with Jane's husband. And one of the things that I realized from putting together this talk today is that the ladies at the Women's Resource Center welcomed me in, accepted me, and then they watched me go on to realize what I had come there for. And isn't it interesting that that's what I'm doing now? People come into Freedom Village, into independent living. They want a good, secure lifestyle. They want a lifestyle that will be guaranteed for the rest of their lives, no matter what progression their health might take them. So I'm able to help them come in, to help them realize what it is that we offer and how that relates to them and helps them. And then once they get there, I get to see them thrive. I get to see them succeed in what they're doing. So in conclusion, what has the Women's Resource Center meant to me? Everything. Thank you.
Okay, new rule, no tearing me up before I have to come back up here and speak. I think that's reasonable for the next ones. Thank you, Eleanor. And what she failed to mention is that this year she was the top salesperson in all of Freedom Village. So not just thriving, but excelling. Kind of in between introducing, I want to acknowledge a couple of different people. There's so many people in this room who have been a big part of the Women's Resource Center by volunteering their time and energy, starting with, and she loves it when I do it, so it's now 3 times, Jan. I'm just going to make you stand up. And what I want you to do is when I call the different groups, just stay standing. So Jan Entwistle is who we consider our founder. We have our current board of directors. I see you all. You know I can see you, right? And then our current volunteers, our past board members, our past volunteer, anybody that I have forced to do something, which I see lots of you in this room. Jane, I made you go to Staples this morning. So, but please stand if you've ever been a volunteer for the center, on the board, have painted something. So that's a round of applause for you guys. Thank you. So our next speaker is a very special lady and has been a long-time volunteer, and she actually started volunteering at the center when she was going through a really difficult time in her life. I'd like to introduce you to Colleen Collins, so who has a little different story. So, Colleen.
Hello. I was living my ideal life. As young retirees from New Jersey, my husband and I were enjoying every moment of the Florida lifestyle and our newfound freedom from alarm clocks and responsibilities. Our biggest decisions were, where should we take the boat today? Which restaurant should we try tonight? Oh.
They're going
Where's the best place to go dancing? Or how about if we just stay home today and enjoy each other's company? Sometimes while having our morning coffee, my husband, who was always in awe of women and fully understood that the woman was the center of life, would point out something he had just read in the newspaper about the Women's Resource Center. And he'd say to me, we really ought to go over there and see what we can do to help. Well, that would be the day that I wanted to go explore the 7 Mile Reef or get the motorhome ready for the next adventure. I was fully engaged in play mode. We had just returned from a cruise and were enjoying a relaxing dinner with our children out by the pool when my whole world came crashing down around me. A sudden, massive coronary took my husband and completely broke my heart and spirit. For months, I was nothing more than a broken, empty shell. Get dressed? What for? Eat something? Not possible. All I wanted to do was go where he went. I started to think somebody must have installed a zip line between New Jersey and here, because I'd no sooner get the house empty and a new batch of company would arrive. And I just wanted to be left alone. But they were afraid to leave me alone. Suddenly, I became aware of what my state was doing to my family and friends. The center, the woman, had fallen apart, and everybody was feeling the effects. Finally, I started hearing Jim telling me, all right, that's enough. It's time for you to get up, dust yourself off, and figure out what you're going to do with the rest of your life. I remembered him telling me about the Women's Resource Center, so I decided to start there. I contacted them and told them I was a widow with too much time on my hands and what could I do to help. Well, they put me on the front desk, and before I knew it, I was signed up for this committee and that event and this fundraiser. But that was good because I needed to stay busy. What I found there was compassion, connection, and courage. Compassion is the common thread that runs through everyone involved in the Women's Resource Center. The connection came from being able to share our stories in a safe environment and working together to help other women through their transitions. And the courage came from taking advantage of some of the wonderful programs that the center has to offer. Today, I have a wonderful new circle of friends who know me as Colleen Collins, not Jim's widow. My family and my oldest and dearest friends, who've been through it all with me, are quite happy to see that my spirit has returned. It has not been easy. There were many times I thought I couldn't make it to the next level. A song on the radio, a flash memory. Those were the times I enrolled in another program at the Women's Resource Center. One of the programs was a career counseling session with Jay. This enabled me to get back in touch with my talents, interests, and strengths, and led me to Kathy Goodwin and her interior decorating business. She immediately took me on, and together we've been growing and expanding that business. There were a number of self-enlightening workshops that I attended as well that were invaluable in helping me regain my strength. This enabled me to give again and make a positive difference in another special lady's life. We can't change the bad things that happen to us, but we can learn to overcome them and move on with a little help. I'm still a work in progress. It's not ideal yet, but I've come a long way, and the Women's Resource Center has been and will continue to be a large part of that. The center needs to continue to grow to help other women through their transitions. The power and the strength that women possess is truly unbelievable, but sometimes life gets in the way of that. And sometimes you just need that hand up in order to reconnect with that strength and power. This is where the Women's Resource Center is invaluable. Thank you.
And do you see how well they listened to me with the no tearing me up? Sad but true, this is going to be the last time I'm speaking today. I know, take a minute. But I wanted to point out a couple of things. One, on everyone's seat, this is an overview of the programs at the Women's Resource Center. So take it with you and you can look at it. And Jill McGarry, I did not plan any of those. I read it in the paper stories, just so you know. But that was good, ladies. That was good, because the Bradenton Herald has been a long time supporter. Also, we have these cute little boxes. And make sure you take them home, and there's a fortune cookie with more testimonials from women who have been impacted by the center. Before I introduce our last speaker, there's another group that really make what happens at the center possible, even though I try to take all credit, which isn't that the job of the director, Laurel? No? Right? I think so. But it's my staff, and they're really great. So there's 3 full-time staff members, myself, Denise Watkins, who I'm going to make y'all stand too, and Bethany Willits, which I have no idea where she is. Oh, there you go. And then Bonnie Wimmer and Amanda Edge. I did not forget you this year, Amanda. I get a gold star. Do amazing things on a part-time basis. And then at the Unique Boutique, we have Jamie Carter and Barbara Britton. So thank you guys for all you do. So our last speaker today is a businesswoman and has been a friend of mine for many years. And I was fortunate to kind of live through some of her difficult life transitions with her, and she's come through them beautifully. Notice the nice things I said before you come up here, which would be good. So again, from me and the staff and the board at the center, thank you for being here today and hearing these stories. And Christina, thank you for being here to share yours.
I just want to see a show of hands of how many people have been bribed by Ashley Brown. Do you see that? I met Ashley by accident several years ago. She was throwing a bachelorette party for one of her friend's daughters, and she needed a nail tech. And she did not ask me. But the girl she did ask said, I can't do it, but ask Christina. Well, I did it. It was during a hurricane. And I did. I showed up anyways. And we just became friends. She became my client for a long time. And I really didn't feel that bad about myself until I met Ashley. And she helped me realize how messed up my life was. So thank you for that. But honestly, I was in a very dysfunctional, unhealthy marriage. And getting to know Ashley, she would always talk about the Women's Resource Center. And I, like a lot of people, thought it was for, abused women, that were getting beat up by their husbands. And so I didn't know anything about the Women's Resource Center, and that is not what the center is about. And so I knew I needed to make a change in my life. So I went to the Women's Resource Center first when I realized that I needed to leave my marriage. I didn't go to my friends. I did not go to my family because I knew I would blame them if it didn't go as planned. I would say, well, you told me to do it. So I went to the Women's Resource Center, and they gave me the steps of what I needed to do. They gave me strength, and they also told me how I was going to tell my kids. And so week after week, I went to the Women's Resource Center and got counseling, and they helped me, and they gave me the tools that I needed to get through this. And it was amazing. I felt stronger. I felt brave. My kids, they were getting healthier, going through this hard time in our lives. And one day I had an aha moment with one of the counselors. I was telling her about, I was trying to put up a ceiling fan in my bedroom, and my son was 16 at the time, and he said, Mom, let me help you put up the fan. I'm like, I don't need you to help me. I don't need anybody to help me do this. Mind you, my whole family had just moved to Tennessee, everyone. And I just got a divorce, so it was just, I could do everything by myself. I don't need anybody's help. Well, that didn't work out so well. My fan broke, and I just threw myself on the bed, and I just started crying. And so I was telling the counselor about this and, looking for sympathy. And she looked at me and she said, nobody cares, really, that you can hang up a fan. Like, what? And she said, hire an electrician. I'm like, oh, yeah, I'm going to do that. And that's when I realized that it did not make me weak to ask for help. And that's what friends are for, and that's what the Women's Resource Center is for, is to help women. And we can't do it on our own. And so I ask my friends all the time to come help and support me. And now, 4 years later, I have 2 teenage daughters who actually like me a lot. And I have a son that is in his 3rd week of basic training at United States Marine Corps. So that is really exciting. And so now I know that meeting Ashley was not an accident. I truly believe that I was supposed to be up here talking to you, and hopefully my story, as well as the other women's stories, will inspire you when you need help, or someone that you know, and to tell others about the Women's Resource Center and let people know the resources that they have. So thank you.
Wow. Ashley, thank you for having me follow those stories. Can we please have a big round of applause for our 3 speakers today? Good afternoon. My name is Jill McGarry. I'm with the Bradenton Herald, and I am a proud member of, I'm sorry if I tear up, proud member of the board of directors of the Women's Resource Center. I want to begin by thanking each of you for attending our Founders Luncheon today. Your support is what enables us to provide the programs you heard about from the 3 of our clients who shared their stories with us today. We are passionate about the ongoing mission of the Women's Resource Center to provide direction to women of all generations by inspiring, educating, and supporting them through life's transitions. It was 1 year ago today that I sat in my seat at the Founders Luncheon last year and listened to the client stories. Unknowingly, one of the brave women telling her story was a woman I knew. I realized that one of those stories could have been mine, or my sister's, or my girlfriend's, or my coworkers. In that moment, I knew I wanted to do more for the women in our community. We all face challenges. We all go through life's transitions, whether it be losing a job, going through a divorce, watching helplessly as a loved one suffers from a long-term illness, the emotional stress of losing a family member, moving or relocating, or simply needing parenting advice. Like for your 1-year-old who throws tantrums because he doesn't want to get out of the bathtub. When it is beyond your ability to rationalize the solution to a problem or challenge, the Women's Resource Center is there for you. We realize that there are many quality organizations who are taking positive actions to improve our community. We also know that each of them needs financial support and that many of you are financial contributors to those various organizations. So when you ask yourself, why should I be a financial supporter of the Women's Resource Center? The answer is simple. It's the 3 women who shared their stories today with us. It could be anyone you know and love. It could be you. So far this year, the Women's Resource Center has had over 3,300 women participate in employment, counseling, educational, and personal development programs. Plus, over 1,900 women have been referred to other agencies for additional support. The difference the center makes in those women's lives doesn't stop with them, because when we empower a woman, we change lives and we strengthen our community. Our goal today is to raise awareness about the programs of the center and to give you an opportunity to join us in supporting the women of our community. The monies we raise through events such as today ensure that we are able to continue to provide quality, life-changing programs to the women of Manatee County. Your table captain has a form for each of you. Table captains, can you please hand out the forms? Really? As you receive your forms, I want to bring a few items to your attention. First, we have designated some specific gifts and the services that those gifts provide. If you would, please select the amount you want to give today. And I do have a feeling that this is the year that that $10,000 box will be checked. Okay? Somebody please fancy me. Second, below the box, you will find several options. And the last section is your payment and contact information. While you take a few moments to complete your form and return it to your table captain, I want to lastly thank you again for joining us today and supporting the Women's Resource Center. Thank you.
Sorry, I lied. One more visit for me. And Dottie Turner is going to feel so badly. After she said, "What are those ugly things?" They're your flowers, Dottie. Dottie Turner, thank you for helping us. Actually, it was the container they were in. But Dottie, thank you for all your help.